everybody, to our last class in February of 2017. How about that? So, for the last class, we're going to be doing a little more, spending a little more time in the meditative space. And so what we're going to do is we're going to run through our questions and change the order a little bit. And that way, as we go into our meditative space, we can reflect on some of these things, let them be in our consciousness. We're just going to try that and see how that goes. So to start off with one of the statements, one of the sweetest gifts life has to offer is that meditative space. It is not a space, it's just to be surrounded by all that you are, experience it, know it, and then your moments of your life to remember that you're really just in that space. The more you sense and realize the meditative space, it just continues to be a fulfillment of relationship with the what is. The truth is that meditative space facilitates the healing, and the practice is about the demonstration, the art of the healing nature within life itself. Laughter can be the salve not only for anger but also for any emotional reactivity that takes us out of balance. It makes sense as our words become less and meditation becomes more, we are reminded to be more space and less matter. Reflection questions: what situation am I aware of, past or present, that I can witness, embrace from my heart? How or where can I use less words and more meditative space? So let's go ahead and enter into our meditative space. The meditative space is a more accurate description. Let's just begin by, first of all, just being present. Being in your chair, being here, finding a comfortable posture. Just get comfortable. Let go of the right way to sit, the right way to be. Just get into a comfortable position that is sustainable. And as we accept now, there is an infinite number of ways to enter into the meditative space. Gardening, laughter, any moment can bring you into a conscious awareness of it. And we're just going to practice entering into it with basic breath. Practice becoming more and more aware of its ongoing existence. Through stillness and just intention to be in it. And let's do a little bit of voice as we enter into it, and let's just all say together, it is my intention.
It is my intention
to be in the meditative space. Beautiful, everybody. Let's assist our bodies into that by just gentle inspiration, expiration. Find your own pace, your own rhythm. And embrace that as we do this together, we do it in our own way. Thoughts are always welcome. Discomfort is welcome. We welcome it all into the meditative space of awareness. having what you would, call a difficulty or an issue, a problem, whatever words you want to use to describe it, a sickness, whatever, they're all just descriptions. Please set the intention to bring that into the meditative space to be healed. Whatever it is, emotion, bring it to the healing space. Enjoy the sounds. We are here to practice being in the meditative space, in the world, not by removing ourselves from it. Practice being in this space without any expectation. Trust the space's ability to do what it does, its frequency. Its natural, innate response. Let any illusion of separation between you and the space that you come from just disappear. Be aware of the parts of your mind or your body that are resisting, that are the ice cubes in the glass of water. Just surround them with acceptance, love. Not because you wish for them to change, but because as you do that, you witness the change. loving awareness for what in you is resisting. Setting the intention to calm it, comfort it, help whatever it is to relax and become reordered. Slowly notice the days slip away. Be aware of what seems so important when you weren't consciously in the meditative space. And how important it is now that you're seeing it from the meditative space. Anything that you see differently is an opportunity for that to be in the meditative space going forward. Be consciously in a space that always exists. vibration or tone of Om that comes to you naturally. We're going to all go into an Om together. Again, the Om vibration is just the vibration. Helps to release tension. So will be your inspiration and into whatever Om you're at. Gently move your eyes around behind your eyelids, keeping them closed. And gently open your eyes. See love all around you. So Maddie, how do you feel in this class compared to the last one?
A lot better. I was really anxious the last time I came in here, and I was telling him, and he was like, "It's okay. Like, you have to come back. You have to get through it." And I feel so much better now. It's amazing.
And how are you feeling in general?
A lot better.
Okay. It's very interesting that as someone comes to a class and they're working towards feeling better, they come here and they don't always feel good at first, but as the goodness starts to take over their life, when they come into an environment of goodness, they recognize the goodness, they feel it, they feel at peace with it. So it's really it was a wonderful sharing that we had about that, and I'm so glad that you're here tonight and you feel such a difference. Like you're like almost so relaxed right now that you're a little sleepy, which is how fun. How was your experience? How did you do?
How did I do?
How did you do in the space? How did you experience your space?
My space here?
Yeah.
I had to laugh because I got into the meditative space on the treadmill the other day. And it kept going back in my head, how did I do that? And it was in the middle of work, in the middle of all these people who are all wound up. And I'm on the treadmill and I have that little clip so I know I'm gonna, if I fall, the machine will stop. And I didn't have headphones in or anything, and I just started to walk and I was just looking at the light. And all of a sudden I was in the meditative space and I'm like, whoa, okay. I didn't even notice people walking by me. So I was thinking about that while I was here. But this, just right now, this was wonderful to just, when I come here, at first I'm very wound up from the day.
Yeah. So you were able to, we're using words, but you were able to drop into it.
Yep.
Yeah. But did anybody have a lot of difficulty dropping into it that was in the room? Did anyone have, did they sense difficulty with it? I'm curious, because I didn't sense anybody having, I felt like we were all just, like we just were in. You know, so I was, because I was kind of tuning into everybody as I was in that space, and I felt like we all just really shifted into it, really, I mean, not to be corny, but as one, like we all just, so, that was very powerful, very powerful.
We have a request for people to please speak up.
Yeah, I have a request for them to show up, and they'll hear us just fine.
There we go.
There's always the way around technology, unless you're out of stage, just be there. I wanted to say that for quite some time, so I'm glad I found it. From a meditative space, I said it.
I use the earphone on my computer.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Figure it out. All right. Yeah, perfectly. That was great. So look at that. I mean, it's wonderful. We talk about in the meditative space how we really transcend time. You know, and did it seem like, you know, I can't remember what I said it for, but I think it was like 25 or 30 minutes. Did it seem like 25 or 30 minutes went by in that space?
Is that how long it was?
Yeah, 7 o'clock.
I could have still stayed in the space.
Right?
I don't want really, because I love my body. It was great. I was flying all around.
Yeah. I mean, you just totally, that's the beauty of it. There is no sense of time. And when you're unhooked from that sense of time, your system reacts in a completely different way. You know, it just proves again how much time should be a language of communication, not something we define ourselves within. You know, it's, immortality is the space we're meant to come from and exist within. I had a, okay. Wow. Kind of like coming out of nappy time, isn't it? So, I'm going to be guided to ask someone to give me an experience that they're having difficulty maintaining a meditative space within, and I just want them to, in their own way, as comfortable as they can. They don't have to be. They can be as abstract or specific as they want. Just tell me what it is. Yeah.
No, I don't want to be on camera.
Well, then don't put the camera on.
I know.
So then tell me.
When do I have difficulty with meditative state?
Yeah. What space? What is it? What makes it difficult for you to stay in a meditative space? What experience?
I don't have difficulty staying in it, but there's times when I'm a bit hyper and it takes me longer to get into it. But I don't have a trouble staying into it, and I often don't want to get out.
Okay. So what do you? So really, it's the hyperness that is what resists the meditative space,
Yes.
right?
Yes, or I have too much either hyper or sometimes joy actually, and I just can't calm down.
Okay. So I'm sure that she's, one of a billion people who have that experience sometimes, that, is a little resistant to it. So let's just, let's all go into that. Let's all see if there's any of that space within us. Remember, your healing is everyone else's.
Can't try.
That's okay. No, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be on camera. It's just, you were the perfect person to bring up the thing.
Yeah.
That's all. So let's just, all of us again, let's bring ourselves back into that space. If we've left it a little bit, let's just kind of sit back in it a little bit. And let's just examine the energy of hyper. Just look at it. easily overstimulated. Overreaction. What's some other words that you guys have around when you think of hyperenergy? What else? What other words do you have around it now that you're just sitting with it in this space? How else would you describe it?
Anxiety sometimes.
Okay, anxiety,
Nervousness.
nervousness. All right.
Impulsive.
Impulsive,
Unfocused.
unfocused,
Chaotic.
scattered,
Protective.
protective. Great answers. Who else? Those are awesome ones.
Unresolved.
Unresolved. That's a great way to look at it. Unresolved, something unresolved. Beautiful. Again, let's just let all those different descriptions just be. And realize they're all just different reactions and categories that we give to what we're experiencing. Fear. Now, how many of those impressions or reactions or ideas about it, how many of those came from the meditative space of being, so to speak? How many of those do you think originated from a meditative space? Yeah. So just now that you know the meditative space exists, everybody, and you're conscious of it, and we all just did it together. And we know that we can be with something in a way that doesn't require those. Just embrace who you'll be without them. Really. Just embrace who you'll be without them. In this space together, be the person without them. Be the person that's never resolved, always ongoing. Be the person that's never impulsive, always willing to look, witness, observe, wait for guidance. Be the person that's fearless, that doesn't need to sidestep an experience, but rather go through it, grounded. Be the person that no longer has to be nervous because she always feels safe. Be the person who sees the order. Be the meditative space. Meditative space has the constant ability and quality to be that, no matter what happens around it, or even within it. And because it can be it, we are it, we can be it. We're just allowing and adopting all the innate qualities of that space, and we're just becoming it, knowing we're already it, but we're consciously becoming it. Really allow that to enter into your bodies. Really let it be your physical being. Not a way your mind is, a way your body is. Your body is the meditative state. It becomes the temple for the meditative mind. allow the electrical energy that exists within your being to be grounded. Don't be concerned about what you're grounding it into. Just allow grounding. It's a notion you need to be grounded into the earth or grounded into this. But it's the intention of grounding. To be grounded. Well, what would I ground into? I ground into different spaces of consciousness, okay, relatively speaking. I ground into a space. Ground into the meditative space. That space that can take current and dissipate it. Spread it out. Relax it. So ground into it. Ground the nervousness. See the energy of nervousness just coming into the meditative space and just going zzz, zzz. See the energy of fear. See it going into the meditative space and just zzz. Like a sparkler that you're putting into the water. Just that's it. Let go of the habit of being over-electrical, using too much voltage. Inspiration and expiration. Nice. Open your eyes. Stay in your meditative space. Allow yourself to engage your senses. Allow yourself to look at other people and stay. To be witnessed. To be witnessed by others. And stay. To no longer waste the energy on being self-conscious. To look at things and not say, what do I need to do about it? To feel things and not think of what it's supposed to mean. To simply have a momentary experience. Not trying to come to any conclusions. To not make life about having reactions, making decisions. To instead, from this meditative space, say, speak to me. Show me. Talk to me. And then begin to hear, see, and sense. Not the world that you once thought was there, but the world that's there. Much better. I'm going to leave you with such a simple practice. Okay, that goes right along. I'm just going to use some other words that are a little more familiar to you all. Stay calm. Just stay for even good reasons, okay, it takes energy. There's nothing wrong with spending energy, the same way there's nothing wrong with spending money. But spend your energy on something that's good for you. Laughing, smiling, healing, dilating. Simple things. But without you spending energy on these simple things that you're most aware of in a meditative space, many times you don't do it. And your body, your innate, fights for the energy to keep you alive, to help you get out of life what you're really supposed to be getting out of it, which is the interface, the unity, the oneness. We've been taught and learned, for whatever reasons, doesn't matter, that on some level we're here to react to what's going on. That that's the first thing we're here to do, is react to what's going on around us. And in reality, we're really here to receive, to witness. To receive and witness. To receive and witness each other. I see you. I witness your goodness. I see what you do. I witness your effort. I see it. What a different place, in a different space, it would be if that was really considered to be the primary purpose of our experience, to see and witness. I see all of you tonight in this amazing space. It's great. We might all use different words to describe it. We might all have different words to talk about it. But when we were all in that space together, it was all the same thing, wasn't it, Keith? It didn't matter. That's why it's so important that we that we are reminded, more than we remind, that we are reminded of the unnecessary steps. And it's not the practice of it in this case, it's the practice of simply remembering its existence and entering into it. And I can tell with all of us in this room, it wasn't more than 30 to 45 seconds. And all of you were just... So we practice it in a space together. And now it's starting to happen to you, and you weren't gardening, were you?
No, I was doing exercise, which is even more amazing.
Isn't it amazing?
Because usually I'm fighting that.
Okay.
It's like I'm here because I have to be.
Right? So I want to ask you to, your homework for next week is I want you to practice entering into the meditative space in a moment that you would feel would be most anti-meditative space, so to speak. So the moment that you have the most hyperactivity over, the moment you have the most nervousness over, the moment you have the most unresolved issue over, the moment you have the most fear over, the moment you have the most dread over, whatever words you want to describe what kept you from being in the meditative space, practice taking the meditative space to that moment and turning that moment into a meditative space moment. Now exercise is, isn't it?
I'll come back with another one next week.
That's right. But this time, really set the intention. You know, and then when we get together next week, we'll talk about those and we'll share those, because your meditative moment that you've now become in the meditative space with. Once Nancy says, you know, I really didn't want to be in the meditative space. I couldn't imagine being in the meditative space with this moment. And she comes in and says, you know what, I entered into the meditative space at that moment. Like you did with the treadmill, all right? When that moment's possible for Nancy, that moment's possible for everybody. So we don't all have to do the same work, you know what I mean? We can all just bring the awareness and possibility of that space, okay? Which we know is possible. We're just going to bring it into full consciousness together. And then once it is for one, then all of us automatically will have that availability. And we'll help each other exponentially expand the meditative space in each other's lives. Love you all. See you next week.
Love you too.
Mhm.